good evening. Kala Naresh ma'am, good evening. Netaji Raj, good evening. Karupsami, good evening. Divya, good evening. Damodaran, good evening. And Dr. Smita Kumari, good evening. Sumi and Venkatesh Soundararajan. I think few more people also will be joining us. So today's session, it is titled Emotions Allowed, the Rules We Never Spoke. So this session is a continuation of a series of sessions which we have been focusing on. As we move in, I'll just explain to you as to what Stay Active Movement 4075 Kovai is all about. We focus on seniors, their family members, the family as such, and the caretaker in the family. So all our programs are addressed primarily towards the family, with focus and relationship to the seniors and the caregiver in the family. It is in this regard we have designed these programs, and we have been doing, and this is our 23rd program. So coming back to our topic for the day, it all started with the first part of the program, the series, which is called as the Group Imago, Your Inner Family Blueprint. So here, what happens is all of us carry an image about our family in our mind. That is what is called the group imago. It is neither discussed outside nor felt by the other people. It is only inside our head this imago is present. It is our family blueprint. So in specific, it talks about the unconscious image of how family should be, right? So all of us are in a family, and each one of us have our own imago as to how our family should be. It's an unconscious image. In this, we have got three important parts, which is the roles, the rules, and the emotions. When we talk about the roles, it talks about what role you take in the family. Second is the rules. What are the rules laid down in your family, which is not overtly said, but understood by the people or implied situations, and the emotions. So these three things form the unconscious image of how our family should be. So this was what we looked into the group imago part in our first part of our series. So here you can see the family setup. Of course, this is a stage play, but here you can clearly see each one taking their own role. The young ladies, the senior lady, okay, you can see their expressions, the kind of emotions they are exhibiting, and what is happening in the family. So all these things are there in each and every one of our family. Each one of us behave in a different pattern, but we have specific emotions and rules which are there in the family. So the first part of our program covered on the unconscious image. The second part of our program, we covered about the role. Remember in the previous slide, we were speaking about roles, rules, and emotions. So we went in depth into the roles, the cast of the family play. So each one of us in our family, we take a different cast and we play to that particular role which we are taking up. On the left hand side, you can see around 6 specific names which we are given. So these are only a limited thing which we have put in. The responsible one, the giver, the rebel, the fixer, the scapegoat, and the ghost. So by the very definition and the word, you can understand what sort of character these people are. The responsible one, he takes care of the entire family. The responsibility is on his head. The giver, that this person always starts giving, sacrificing for the family. The rebel, somebody who's always rebellious in the family, starts arguing. The fixer, the person who takes responsibility and makes ends to meet. The scapegoat, the person who always escapes. And the ghost, the persons there in the family, but we're not able to identify who they are, where they are, and what they're doing. We don't even know that they're existing. They'll just be playing a silent role. So we had done a lot of these exercises to understand what these roles are. So there we saw two different set of roles. One, the roles which pulls the family energy down. The other set of roles we saw was the positive ones, which enhance the quality of the life in the family, Okay, all the positive characteristic traits which we had seen. In fact, we had shared these list of negative and the positive roles which can be taken up by any member in a family in the WhatsApp group also. So that is where we ended, and all our previous sessions ended up with an assignment for you to understand and change certain things which you thought needs to have a change in your family and also within yourself. So the first session was about group imago. Then we moved on to the roles, and now we are moving into the topic of the emotions. And friends, you need to understand these roles you were not auditioned, you were assigned. What we mean by audition is when you go for a stage play, a drama, or a movie, an audition is get whether to see whether you fit into this particular role or not. But in this drama of life, you were never auditioned. People never asked your expectations, your strength, or your weakness. They just pushed you into that particular role and you were assigned that role. So we are carrying on with this role. And today we'll be looking into the emotions allowed, right? So what emotions play a major part in our family? Friends, as usual, I would always request you to have your notebook and pen along with you. And some of these things you can note it down. Whatever you feel like sharing in the group, you can unmute anytime and share. So the topic for today is emotions allowed, the rules we never spoke. So why is this emotions allowed? Because certain families don't allow certain emotions. They only allow a certain set of emotions to be exhibited in the family, right? Are there any written rules and regulations? No. But in our organizations or wherever we work or in the place where we work, we always have a set of rules which has to be followed. But in the family, these rules are there, but it's never written or spoken about. But we copy other people and we understand what is to be exhibited and what is not to be exhibited. So on the right hand side, you can see the small houses. So you can see each house has got a different emotion. Of course, this is a drawing, but predominantly you can understand, you can just uh, do a small check with your family, your aunts, your uncles, your nephews, right? All your relatives. You can just check out what emotions predominantly in their house, right? So here you've got 9 houses, which depicts different sorts of an emotion, right? What is there in the family? See, we undergo many emotions, but predominantly in one particular family, a certain set of emotions takes the upper hand. Uh, okay, 1 second. Is my screen not visible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
It is visible, sir.
Visible, sir. Yes, it is visible.
yes.
Yes, visible.
Okay. Okay. Helps for me. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So, what can be felt here? So that is the question which we need to ask ourselves. What is the emotion which is felt in our house? So here today we'll be doing a deep dive into unspoken emotional rules in the family. So going ahead, setting the session objectives, it will be like we'll be putting a effort to understand what are the how do we recognize unspoken emotional rules? One. The second will be we'll be also exploring how these rules shape the group imago. Remember, these rules shape our expectations of a family, which we carry in our mind. The third objective is to understand the cost of the emotional suppression. See, we need to pay something when we suppress, right? So we look into what is the cost of the emotional suppression, and third and the final one, the fourth one is expand the emotional vocabulary, right? So a lot of words which we have known till now might give us a different meaning. Okay, so we'll also understand and expand the emotional vocabulary, right? So to begin with, uh, three important words are always interchanged or misused or misunderstood. The three words are emotions, feelings, and moods. So I've got few classifications here just to make us understand or look at these words in a new perspective. Okay. Duration for emotion, it is short, in seconds, in few seconds, right? Whereas for feelings, the duration is moderate, it can be in few minutes. And the moods, it's lots longer, probably hours or even days. The intensity of emotions are high, feelings are moderate, and the moods are low. This, all of us, we have experienced this day in and day out during the past many days. Now we come to the third one, the cause. When we talk about the causes, right, the emotions are specific responses to external stimuli. Okay, probably events happening around us, some objects, or the people around us. So emotions are specific responses to external stimuli, whereas feelings are mental reactions to emotions. Please understand, feelings are mental reaction to emotions. So, which means emotions comes first, then the feelings comes second, right? For mood, the cause is often general and unclear. It is termed as a general words which we use to define our mood. We are not able to specify or understand where it is getting created. What are the effects, right? The effects, when an emotion emerges, it is an immediate action. It leads to a fight or flight response. Either you fight the situation, you face the situation, or you have a flight response. Flight means you move away from the situation which is creating the emotion. Feelings leads to decision making, learning, memory, perception, attitudes, and intentions. Feelings helps you to redefine certain aspects of your observation, your understanding of yourself, the people, and the world around you. The mood is generally a behavior, psychological well-being, or physical health. The last one is very, very important, the awareness part. The emotions are automatic and unconscious. Within a blink of an eye, the emotion is triggered off. Whereas for feelings, it is in the conscious, you're able to have the awareness in the conscious state, and the moods, it's in the conscious state. Whereas the awareness for the emotions is very, 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 very low. Probably that is also a reason why we have a lot of challenges in our family. The very people whom we are very close to, and the very people whom we have been seeing for ages together, right? So with this small context and understanding of emotions, feelings, we'll move to the session. Certain places, the words emotion and feelings might be interchanged. That could be our perception. So the output or the assumptions can be clarified or ratified later. Okay, the opening ritual, the Rasa Snan. I have taken some terminologies from the Indian uh, mythology and philosophies like Navarasa. So the 9 emotions which all of us have read. So here we have got a beautiful person who's in a dancing pose, in a dancing attire, and is expressing all these things. So if you know the answer, you can use the chat box, or you can even unmute and say, okay, I'll come from the right corner, Karna. Do you have the equivalent word for Karna? What is the word which you use normally?
Empathy.
Empathy, right? Hasya, Hasya,
Achanak.
what?
Surprise.
Surprise.
Achanak.
What
Surprise.
is it? Okay, Shringar. Okay,
Smile.
good, good. Raudra,
Fierce, fierce,
fierce,
angry.
angry. Okay,
Angry.
angry. Veera,
Brave.
Brave. Excellent. Vibhatsa.
Sarcasm, sir.
Disgust.
Sarcasm or something like that.
Okay, sarcasm or something like that. Okay. Adbhuta.
Oh,
Exclamation.
Exclamation. Okay.
surprise.
Surprise. Good. Bhayanaka.
Fear.
Fear.
Fear. Okay. Shanta.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Okay. Let us see what the answers are. Okay. Karna's compassion. You got it right. Hasya's laughter. Pingar is delight.
Right.
Right? Delight. Raudra's anger. That was right. Veera's bravery. Bibhatsa is disgust.
Okay.
Something which you don't like. Adbhuta is wonder, admiring something, some achievement or feat. Bhayanka is fear, you got it right. Shanta is peaceful. So these are the 9 emotions which are there in our Indian part. But with the Western culture has also they have come up with a shortened version of all these things and they have put it into 4 different parts: sad, mad, bad, and glad, which I'm not going to do today. But for our understanding, sad, mad, bad, and glad will be also another dimension which you can take it as a framework to understand. Now, the word bravery is a umbrella word under which lot of other words can also come in, right? Bravery, brave, bold, dynamic, authoritative. So all those kind of terms also can come into the word called bravery. Now the challenge for us, okay, the first one for us is to pick up one emotion you weren't allowed to show growing up. You pick one emotion which you are not allowed to show when you are growing up in your childhood days, early days in your family.
My
It's very
case
Anger,
is
sir.
fear.
Anger.
anger, good.
Whatever they say, we have to follow. We are not supposed to tell our opinion.
Yes. We were not allowed to express our anger. That's right.
Fear.
What else?
Fear.
Fear, yes. என்னடா பையன் பயந்துக்கிற? Why are you getting
Ah,
upset? You should be
you're not
bold.
supposed to. You're not supposed to fear.
You are not supposed to fear.
Disgust.
Disgust, yes. This is not the way how you need to express it. பிடிக்கலனாலும் சாப்பிட்டுறணும். இலையில வச்சாலும் பிடிக்காட்டியும் சாப்பிடணும். See, all these things. See, friends, we are right now. I think you have got the crux of this whole session. It is to identify what was restricted in our family, our true emotions, right? Please stick on with the emotion which you have picked up because that is something which will give you a lot of insights. So you have picked up one emotion you were not allowed to show growing up, and we are not sharing it. You have shared it out. So we have this delight, laughter, compassion, anger, bravery, wonder, fear, disgust, all these things which we need to take care of. So you are right now done this. As of now, keep this emotion in mind. We will be looking into this at a later slide. So emotions as family currency. Emotions as family currency. Yes, Dr. Smita. Please post your.
Sir, I have a different, stand in this. My
Yes,
family used to allow all the emotions,
yes,
but they had their own restriction on the intensity that we can show it out. If that is the
yes,
case,
yes. That is a healthy thing. That is what Dr. Daniel Goleman talks about emotional intelligence.
emotional intelligence. Yeah.
You can be angry. You can be angry, but to be angry for the right reason, with the right person, and to express your anger in the right way with the right intensity is emotional intelligence. That is in principle what you have said. That is absolutely what we are working on today. You are bang on, doctor. You
Okay.
you
Thank you,
have
sir.
touched the very core of the subject. The challenge here is if there is a family which allows you to express your emotions, but in the proper way. I'll not use the word but, I'll use the word and. Express the emotion in the proper way. That is a healthy family where things can be shared, where people will understand your emotions and feelings. See, that is the progressive part, which we'll be looking into the further slides. So,
So one more thing,
yes, yes, yes,
Okay, I think when we were growing up, I think you and me would be almost on the same age
yes,
levels, you know. So
yeah,
when we were growing up, we had a lot of gender discriminations, and the emotions were also, binded by the gender discriminatory levels that the family sets. I think a few of them here would agree to that. Being a male, they were allowed to show bravery to whatever extent they can, but
yes,
being a female, we had our own limits, right?
absolutely.
So
And
I think that also falls under
yes, yes,
consideration.
yes, yes. You brought up the situation beautifully. It's true. And gents were never allowed to cry, right? They were never allowed to shed tears, right? They were never allowed to even feel.
Correct.
So a lot of these things happens, and again, it all depends on the
Correct.
family. It changes from family to family. Thanks, doctor. Emotions as family currency. Like, so what is the meaning of emotions as family currency? Uh, See here, you can see a person balancing between the emotions, the give and take. So, in families, it happens. Each family has emotional rules. In some families, if you're happy, it means you're safe. In some families, when you express anger, it means that you're powerful. And only the powerful person in the family is supposed to show anger, and the other people in the family are not supposed to show anger. In some families, if you cry, it means weakness, and some families it means tears means wisdom. In Tamil, we call it as the Ananda Kanir, like even tears come for the good reasons. So this I've taken as a small example where I've brought in three things: joy, anger, and tears. So again, this joy in some family could mean different things. I have known personally families uh, who take dress on Diwali, but they will not wear the new dress on Diwali day. They'll wear it after 2 3 weeks only, and everybody will not wear it together. You know why?
The
The neighbors will
crackers
say
will
everybody is doing.
spoil.
Yes, yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, crackers will spoil, no?
Crackers will spoil.
On
Yeah,
your
that is.
dress.
That's true. Crackers will spoil, but this person, this family, what I'm talking about is since they are known to me, uh, like the real reason for them is neighbors should not feel they are happy. நம்ம தமிழ்ல கண்ணு பட்டுருன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, right? So these people they don't want
Correct.
to show that they got money. They always underplay. So a lot of things are there. So this slide I just brought in for us to think aloud as to what is our family currency. What are we trading for? The first one, joy, we are trading it for safety, anger for authority. It can be anything, but I've just taken here as an example. So here, the metaphor I would like you to think about is a house with locked emotional rooms. A house which has got a lot of rooms. For our example, we'll take it as a house with 9 rooms, which has got doors. So we call it as the house of emotions. And whatever emotions we saw earlier will be also coming here. Delight, laughter, compassion, anger, disgust, bravery, wonder, fear, and peaceful. So in our house, what are the doors which we kept open and what are the doors which we kept closed? When I say closed, we never allowed it. When I say open, it is something which we gave permission for exhibiting in our home. So, which rooms were locked in your childhood home? You don't have to answer me, but you can make a note of it because the past influences the current situation. So, which rooms were locked in your childhood home? the place where you were born, or the place where you were born and you were growing up, right? Which rooms were overcrowded? Which rooms were overcrowded? When we say overcrowded is those which were open. So you need to identify which emotions in your family was given permission to be exhibited and which was not given permission. So this is a very important part in today's session, where you identify your emotional rooms which are locked and which are open in your childhood home. Done? I'll move ahead. So it's now time for your solo reflection. What was I praised for feeling? What were you praised for? What are the feelings you are praised for? You please make a note of it. That is the first question, what I will request you to do as a reflection part. What feelings were you praised for? Two, what was I punished or ignored for? As Dr. Sunita earlier said, right? See, the second question is very in-depth. What was I punished or ignored for? Punished is at one level and being ignored is at one level. So what was it all about? What was I punished or ignored for? Third, who had emotional freedom in my family? Who had the emotional freedom in your family? That person is very important. The person who had emotional freedom in your family is very important. The person who was able to, who was given free hand to express their emotions in the family. In the previous slide, we spoke about a person who was able to show anger meant he was in authority, he was the authority figure in the house. So these three questions: what was I praised for feeling? What was I punished or ignored for? Who had emotional freedom in my family? These three questions are very important to understand the roles played by the members in your family and the emotions. So if you have your pen and paper, please start using it. If not, please take a pen and paper. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to map your family's emotional permissions. In simple terms, what was allowed, what was not allowed, right? So we have a small diagram like this. We'll put a small diagram like this. On one side, we'll write all the 9 emotions. Next to it, we'll have 3 columns: allowed, not allowed, tolerated. So when we say allowed, what you are given permission to exhibit; not allowed, what you are not given permission to be to feel or exhibit. The third one, tolerated. They neither said okay nor they said not okay. They just okay. இவன் தானே இப்படிதான் இருப்பான். Oh, this guy will be like this only. Leave it for some time. So map your family's emotional permissions. What was running in your family? What are the emotions which they allowed in your family, what they didn't allow, and what they tolerated? So this goes back to the house of emotions. Now you need to note down what was running in your family. Then you need to map your own emotional expression. Where were you able to express it? With whom were you able to express it? Of course, as kids, we always remember we were either close to our mother or our father emotionally, right? With our mother, we showed certain emotions. With father, we didn't show certain emotions. But as a family as such, we had certain things which never allowed us to be expressed, right? So just think of those times, right? What was allowed, what was not allowed, and what was tolerated. Then map your own emotional expressions. So first do it for your family as such so that you get a bigger picture. Then you can map your own emotional expressions as an individual. Dr. Sunita Kumari says this again depends on my role or position in the family. Am I correct? Yes, absolutely. It again depends on the role which you are taking. So that is what we had seen in the second session. What is the role you're taking? When you become the head of the family, of course you need to be strict in certain areas, right? It it changes. Till the grandfather is there, the father is not so sound. After the grandfather, when the father takes up the responsibility of the family, his tone, his demeanor, his approach to situations starts changing. You are right, doctor. It keeps changing with the role you take. Sometimes you're the savior of the family, sometimes you're the mender, sometimes you're the feeler of the family, right? Sometimes uh, even grown-up people become a ghost. They don't put their head into certain things in the family, right? So this exercise is very important, where you're mapping the feeling of your family, right? What is allowed and what is not allowed, right? Then you map what is allowed from your part as an individual, what was allowed for you and what was not allowed. Okay, here you can see both are the same young girls. Okay, the person on the left is at a different mood or a feeling level, and the person on the right is at a different feeling or emotion, right? So the title itself says mismatched reflection. So both are the same person, but there is a mismatch, correct? But there is a mismatch. So let us see what these mismatches are. What's the mismatch between what your family allowed and what you actually felt? See, this is where the uh, conflict or identification of the differences starts happening. What's the mismatch between what your family allowed and what you actually felt, right? So I'll go back to the previous slide, which is very important. Map your family's emotional permissions. And the second question is then map your own emotional expression. So are these two matching? Or are these two not matching? So there comes the mismatch between the family emotional permissions and your own emotional expressions. Okay. Uh, I'll just go back to the this particular slide. This change, this mismatch. Okay. So what do we do to go along with the family thing? We don't express what we actually want to express, right? So we want to cry, but we don't cry. We want to express our anger, but we don't express our anger. Sometimes we keep smiling and we just nod our head, we just let it go free. So the next slide talks about what adjustments are we doing and what is the impact, or I'll rather say like how we are changing ourselves to match our family so that the mismatch reflection doesn't happen and matches perfectly. Uh, okay, you can see the image on the right hand side. You got this top two figures, the person in green and the person in blue. The person in blue is holding a picture or an image. See, understand, the person in the blue dress is crying actually, but he's putting up a different face in front of the green person and showing a smiling face. Okay, so his original emotions are not expressed and it is shown outside as something else. Now you just come down to the uh, two people in blue, one in plain blue and the other person in the striped blue. If you look at them, the person holding the brown sheet has got a blank face, but he's putting up a quizzical face in front of the other person. He's frowning, right? He's deep in thought and is assessing something. So now in these two pictures, now now these two pictures clearly tells us what is happening. The person in the blue who's crying puts up a smiling face in front of the other person, and the second image at the bottom, the pair of images at the bottom, it shows a person frowning, but inside he's totally blank. So this is what we call as the racket feelings or the nakli bhavanaye or the false expression, right? So when emotions are suppressed, they show up as a mask. When your true emotions are suppressed, what happens is it comes out in a different format as a mask. We start wearing mask. It is not our original self. We look at somebody, we know this person expressed this, I need to smile here. I know, but when I'm feeling sad inside, but in front of this person, I always keep smiling. We are putting up a false feeling outside, right? Which we call it as the racket feeling. And the racket feeling is this picture face in the yellow color at the top. At the top, you can see this person here, right? And this person at the bottom, he's got a frowning face, which is not the original. They're putting up a mask. So when emotions are suppressed, they show up as masks. They show up as masks. I've got few examples here. Fear is expressed as anger. When somebody is afraid inside, they start shouting at people. They show it as a manifestation outside as anger. So actually, they are having fear inside, but they express it as anger outside. Sadness, they show it as laughter outside. And so when somebody is in shame, they express it as silence. They keep their mouth closed. They don't express what they are feeling. Now you're able to see the shift. The original feeling is something, but the expressed feeling, which is outside, is different. Now, this is something which you need to be aware of. Do we wear masks? Right? Going deep into this racket feeling, I'll explain this racket feeling with a slide. Racket feelings are those feelings which we have learned. Please understand each and every word. Racket feelings are those which we have learned to use to cover up the original feeling, as the authentic feeling didn't feel safe to express when we were children. So we use a different feeling to cover up the original feeling. This feeling which we use to cover up our original feeling is called the racket feeling. So sometimes when we are in the company of a few of our friends, uh, we we would have come across people who, instead of crying, would have remained silent. Somebody would have expressed their sadness by way of anger. So at that point of time, what would have come across our mind or as a comment from our friends would have been, என்னப்பா சோகத்தில் இருக்கான் இவன் ஏன் கத்திட்டு இருக்கான் இவ்வளோ கோவப்படுறான் சோகம் இருக்க வேண்டிய நேரத்தில் ஏன் இவ்வளோ கோவப்படுறாங்க when they are supposed to be sad, why are they angry? So it is because of the racket feeling, the cause of which is the rules in the family which was which was, I'll not say implemented, which was unconsciously uh, implemented on the person growing up when they were young. So it's time for us to think deep and harvest some ideas and takeaways. The reflection will be, what emotions are in exile in your family? You know what the meaning of exile is? Which expressions are never used, but was once used in your family, but right now you have moved it away. You know, like there are comments like, when my elder brother was there in our family, we always used to have a joyful time. Now that he's moved to Chennai, we don't have this laughter and humor at home. So it means these emotions are in exile in our family for various reasons. Dr. Sunita says, even as adults, we are forced to do both in our family, official and in the social space. It is very high in the digital space. Yes. The difference comes here is once you do it consciously because of the situation, you do it consciously, then it is not a racket feeling. You just want to please the other person. But many of us, we do it naturally as our natural behavior. Instead of expressing the emotion A, we express the emotion B because which is a learnt expression of the emotion and not the felt part. It is learnt, like what you earlier said, no, like the gender discrimination, the age discrimination, the responsibility. Hey, what? You are crying. You are the head of the family. You know, if you start crying, what will others think about you? You understand? Things are there. So, what emotions are in exile in your family? What's the cost of emotional restrictions? So, once certain emotions are restricted in your family, what happens? The bonding at certain places starts weakening up. A lot of things happens. What would change if more emotions were allowed? Now, I'm inviting the audience to please share their answers and opinions. You can unmute the mic for any of these three questions. What emotions are in exile in your family? What's the cost of emotional restriction? When some emotions are restricted in your family, what happens? What would change if more emotions were allowed in your family? Like right now, probably in a family, two or three emotions are felt or expressed most of the time. What would happen if more a set of emotions are brought in? What would happen if more set of emotions are brought in into the family? So you need to think on those terms. I would invite the participants to please share their opinion. See, there are no right or wrong answers. You are the master. You decide on what is right and what is wrong.
Anger is not allowed in my family,
Okay.
but in my case, I can tolerate.
Okay. Great.
Now, what happened was probably the family has copied me. They tolerate. Instead of me
Yes.
copying the family has
Ah.
copied me.
Okay. You copied from. Okay. You made the shift.
Yeah,
Conscious
because
shift.
now I have become the head of the family. So probably that made them to copy. Okay, it's tolerant. You can be angry, no problem, like that.
Hmm.
Because father is angry. I am the father now. So
Ah.
he was angry and he tolerates. So boys also become, no, they also show anger now.
Ah. Yes. Uh, Thanks.
So now all three of us are showing anger to the mother. So she says, ஒரு பைத்தியக்காரருக்கு இப்ப மூணு பைத்தியக்காரங்க ஆயிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னு.
True. The
So
uh,
something like that.
it changes. The shift happens. No, when the responsibility changes, the shift also changes. Thanks,
Changes.
Keshamurti sir, for sharing. And Suresh says, of course, we use mask as sometimes. Yes, Suresh ji, we use. But once you start using it, once you become aware of it, the mask will go away. Your your natural flow will start coming in. The emergence of the true self starts coming out. You will be you. So when the mask is put up, you are not you, but you are somebody else, right? So Keshav Murthy ji, like what you shared truly goes with what Dr. Sunita Madam had asked about. When responsibility changes, the person changes, the role changes, the emotions exhibited also starts changing up. You have brought in a good thing. The third question is very, very important. What would change if more emotions were allowed? Very simple, as Sureshji said, authenticity would start coming in. You understand the first, I think the fourth or fifth slide where we spoke about the emotions, the feelings, and the moods, the insight, the decision making, the transformation, the action part, everything starts coming at the feeling stage, right? So what happens is when more emotions are allowed in your family, more feelings starts coming in, right? Instead of a restricted set of feelings, you start feeling the sense or sensing things in your body, which exhibits, I'll not say exhibits, which helps you to exhibit certain decision making qualities and progression, which keeps you on the upward growth.
Yeah. And if we don't show the anger at home,
Ah.
Suppose you restrict it, you go
Ah.
out and show the hanger there in the school or college or whatever. So this we found with my son, elder
Okay.
son. So
Ah.
we allowed him to shout and at home, so that
Ah.
he does not shout to the teachers in the school.
Yes. The
Otherwise, no,
emotional.
he was considered to be a naughty boy there,
Ah.
because he asked all types of funny questions and kind of thing. He asked more questions rather. That was the thing. So we are told him, teacher teacher nane, period teacher nanda. You ask me the question, or you shout at me like that. We said, and slowly he has reduced that disturbance in the school, and he was considered to be a disciplined boy because he's not asking questions. When he was asking questions, he was indisciplined boy. When he reduced asking the question, then he became a disciplined boy in the school.
The tough schools.
Yeah, because he had lots of issues and kind of thing. So we allowed his shouting at home. I mean, this was consciously we made a decision. Both myself and my wife, we allowed him to shout, and then he will sometimes he will break some pen and things like that. So I mean, we did not allow too much, but some things is allowed, and so that he will not disturb the teachers there.
Okay. You were handled in a matured way.
Can I add on to that?
Yes, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Vasan.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of allowing the child to shout, why could not the parent understand it and try to change the situation?
Yeah, because we are incorrigible, no? We are when we I thought I am incorrigible. I cannot change. So probably this class was not there before that.
Um,
But frankly speaking, I did not try to change. Yes, you are correct. No, I could have changed a little bit the situations at home so that he will not get anger.
okay, thanks.
Now he is a 30-year-old boy. Now he says, நீ 7th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் படிக்கும்போது ஒரு நாள் அடிச்சேன். எதுக்கு அடிச்சேன்னு இன்னும் தெரியல. இப்போவா சொல்லுப்பா அப்படிங்கிறான்.
Okay.
So like that, he still remembers I beaten him when he was in 7th standard, but I did not tell him the reason. Now he's asking me, now இப்போவா சொல்லு எதுக்காக அடிச்சேன்.
Okay.
I also forgotten.
Vasanji, like you were asked a very wonderful question. Why we didn't do this? Every parent, even the way how I have brought up, I still have anger with my father and my grandfather. But at that particular point of life, they did what was best for me. But later on, like just how Mr. Keshamurthy had shared, my father had spoken to me when I was in college.
Okay.
See, that reflection comes when they understand certain things was not appropriate. And whatever any parent does, even in an organization, we would have seen like any decisions taken, sometimes after 2 years, it is a wrong decision. But when the decision was taken and acted upon, it was an appropriate and the best decision in that particular situation.
Okay.
This question triggers a lot of thought flow in everybody. So, are we aware of the way how we handle emotions? So that is one important question which is connecting very much with the key learning. So the group imago defines not just behavior, but also the emotional permission. So now if you look at the image here, we got a family tree which grows up, and you can see various lines, right? Mr. Keshamurthy brought in an important shift, how he changed his emotional pattern or his expression of emotions. Here you can see purple line on the right hand side, which goes till the third level, the person at the top. Whereas if you see a blue line on the left hand side, which goes only to the second level, but in the third level, it becomes a red line. A new emotion is built in. See, there two persons are joining. One is a husband, other is a probably other is a wife, probably a couple. See, from that point onwards, the shift happens. This I can say my own example. Before marriage, I was a different person in terms of emotions, particularly with my anger, short temper. But after marriage, if you ask me, are you calm now? No. But I have become more aware, the impact, or I'll say the number of times the emotion outburst starts coming in has reduced very drastically. That I will say definitely to my life partner. And again, to my children, what am I teaching them? Just like Mr. Kesamuthi has shared about, uh, I tell them, I'm angry today. Don't We'll talk later. So I manifest my anger in a subtle way so that they understand I'm not in a good mood. That's it. I don't go too much deep into that. They're just in school now. So this is what I'm doing. So if you ask me, am I doing the right thing? Probably today I'm doing the right thing. Probably with a few people sharing your examples, I might also learn from other people. So group imago defines not just behavior. Please understand, group imago is the image you carry about your family in your mind, which is not conscious. It is in your unconscious. But once you bring it to your conscious and you start matching with your brain, you'll mind the blueprint starts unfolding. So it is not only your behavior, but also the emotional permission. So now all this while we have been talking about the permission, what emotions were allowed and what was the denial, what emotions were not allowed in your family. So we just got 2-3 slides to go. As a closing ritual, we'll call it as the Rasa Rekha. Lakshman Rekha, we know this circle. So we'll draw a circle for our family. We have two important things which we need to write down in the circle and outside the circle. One emotion you want to invite into your family. What is that one emotion you want to bring into your family now, which you feel is missing? That is one. Second, which is inside the circle, one emotion you want to stop faking. That emotion is not there, okay, but you express that emotion. We are faking that emotion, which goes back to our uh, earlier slide. We were talking about this racket feeling, the feeling which we learned, which we are using to put it in front of our original feeling to mask it. So these two will be the key takeaways for you, which I'll recommend you to please give a thought. One emotion you want to invite into your family. What is that one emotion you want to bring into your family? In your own words, it can be in your own terms. What emotion you want to bring it into your family, and one emotion what you want to stop faking. So probably at least the first one you'll be able to
Peace is
answer.
Yeah.
one thing which we want to invite in the family. Peace.
But
Peace.
peace, yes,
Yeah.
peace, Santam.
Yeah.
Good.
Because we talk more, we make something like the other one which we want to get out of the family is bravery. We are overconfident many times.
Mm.
So we want to bring down that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know whether it can be called bravery, but then many times we take more risk.
Yes.
So that has
Sup-
to be we have to take a calculated risk, they say.
Calculated risk.
So
Yeah.
that as a family, I'm talking about including my children,
Okay.
all four of us.
Thank you.
So supposing for both, I say happiness.
Yes, you're right. You're right, Vasant. Because happiness, when you have sorrow inside, you express happiness outside. It's not possible, right? So
Yeah.
that time, that happiness is we are putting a mask. That is faking.
Yeah. So I want to invite happiness and I want to stop faking happiness.
Yes. Fantastic. This is very much related. Thank you, Vasantji, for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the sharing, friends. So Suresh says laughter and anger. Again, see, Suresh wants to bring in both laughter and anger. Very perfect, Suresh. You are the best judge, people. Friends, you know what your family needs. You need to bring that emotion and you need to stop faking that emotion which you feel is not true. All the best. This Lakshman, this Rasa Rekha is very, very important. Probably you need to think about what you will do next. Okay. So as homework, you can write a beautiful letter. Dear emotion, I suppress. That space of emotion I suppress. I am ready to feel you because whatever emotion you are suppressing. See, in the previous slide, we were talking about two things. One was the emotion which you wanted to invite into your family. The second one is that one emotion which you want to stop faking, right? Which is the racket feeling. The next slide, it talks about writing a letter to the emotion which you are suppressing, which you are hiding, which you are not bringing out because of some messages during your early childhood. So, dear, okay, probably if it is anger, dear anger, I am ready to feel you. I am ready to feel you because I have been missing you for quite a long time. And once I feel, I'll be able to express these things in these ways and I'll be able to get these results. Friends, these last two slides are the crux of today's session. This is where the real transformation happens. Whatever slides you have listened to earlier, it's all on the path of bringing this transformation within yourself and your family. And friends, when you go and do this, the first comment will be, என்னங்க புதுசா பண்றீங்க? What is it you're doing newly? You just take them along in your journey of transformation. So with that, we end the session for this. And today, I didn't have my co-founder Akash with us. So the next session which I'll be taking will be the voices that build this house, your family. What are the voices that build this house? So in that, we'll be looking into behind every emotional rule is a voice. Remember the authority figure we were talking about? Like that, for each emotion, there'll be some authority figure who made sure that these emotions are allowed and these emotions are not allowed. So we'll be looking into what is or who was behind every emotional rule, which is the voice, and we'll also be looking into exploring the family legacies and inherited rules. What are we inheriting from? It is not only like we are not only inheriting property or a will or vehicle or anything. We are also inheriting rules, regulations related to our emotions. So this is what happens when we do this next part of our session, which will be probably will be the Tuesday after the coming, which will be in the third Tuesday of this month. Friends, I'll share the joining link. This is our WhatsApp group, which will be using for sending communication. People who are attending our session for the first time can use this link to join. And all our online programs are free, right? We meet on every Tuesdays between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. As I told in the earlier slide, all our programs are related to the family, the senior citizen, and the caregiver. And of course, when we cover all these things, the whole family as such will be covered. I'm Jagannathan, the founder of Stay Active Movement 4075 Kovai. We are based out of Coimbatore, and my co-founder is Mr. Akash, who's not present here with us today. He is in travel. So we welcome suggestions and opinions from your end anytime. So we'll be meeting up next Tuesday. I will be communicating through the WhatsApp group. Any Q&A we'll take up. I'll stop the screen sharing. So friends, any questions? We are always open.
Thank you very much, sir. Session was very emotional session, I think. So, lot of things we are exploring these three sessions, and moving forward, next session too will be very interesting. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Friends, if you had noticed, when I came to the session, first 5-10 minutes, I was not normal. Did you notice that?
Yes,
I
sir.
was 1.5 minutes late in getting my laptop because it had to go through a reset. That upset me, and my emotions was not normal. It took me 5 to 8 minutes for me to settle down and take the flow. Like even today, everybody learns. Yes. Sir, anybody can ask any questions.
But I have a comment, not a question.
Yes, please, sir.
It gives a different dimension to the whole thing. As a family, I've never looked at family in this way. A bundle of emotions kind of thing. Even though we know many of these, but then it's a more of a we operate through common sense. So once you become aware of these emotions, probably you are better off as a family
You're
man.
right. You're perfect.
That's what I learned.
Thank you, sir.
Be aware of your emotions. That was the main thing which I learned.
Thank you. Friends, any questions? Because see, the more we express, the more we learn.
Sir, actually, such sessions are very important because hardly we think about the emotions that roll around in our family. We don't get time to think about it. We only sit and worry about it, or we only sit and crib about it. We don't really sit down, understand, and think about it. I think such sessions are really good. We get that space to think about why and why not. That was a great initiative, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sumita. That is what we really want, and this is what we have been doing. Like this, we started off with online sessions, and we are still. This is our 23rd session, so which means 6 months we have been active, and we have many people who come on and off, and we just want to really spread the message across. Um, so we have got a small community, but I say for 6 months it's a very small community. We also didn't do any real hardcore marketing or put in a lot of efforts. What we thought was like, let's take it one step at a time, and people are joining us. So only a request or a suggestion I'd rather say as a request to each and everyone present here is to please spread the message. All our communication comes to the group on
Yeah.
Sundays and on Tuesday
Yeah,
morning. Again, we post.
yeah, these sessions actually help us to retrospect our past behaviors.
Yes, very much. It is not only our past, it carries so much of thing, no? Our
Yes, sir.
past is about our father, our grandfather, their great grandfathers, all these things. That is where we
Correct.
spoke about on my first session, we spoke about the family lineage. We, in fact, spoke about the Rajputs. If you can, when you have time, please visit the website called rajputsfamily.com.
Oh,
So they have right from that year till today, each one of them have their own family lineage, their hierarchy from who's their uh, grandfather or where they started from 10 generations back. It is all on the website, which is very active. They have also have the data of the current generation who are still in school and college. They know what they are doing. Everything's updated there. So the family lineage runs. You
okay.
have your own history. சார் இப்போ நம்ம ஒரு பொண்ணு கொடுக்குறோம் இல்லாட்டி மாப்பிள்ளை பார்க்குறோம் ஏதோ ஒன்று இந்த மாதிரி பார்க்குறப்போ ஃபேமிலி எப்படின்னு தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேள்வி வருது. அவங்க தாத்தா பாட்டி யாரு, அவங்க அப்பா அம்மா யாரு, this is what we look into. Of course we look into this person, but before we give importance to this thing, we look into the family lineage, from where they came, what are they carrying with them. And again, when we ask as a comment, right, in HR terms, we call it as the uh, candidate verification. அப்போ அந்த கேண்டிடேட் உண்மைதான் சொல்றாரா, அந்த சேலரி தான் வாங்கணும், இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய டீட்டெயில்ஸ் வாங்குவோம். அந்த மாதிரி when we look at somebody's family, we look into how that family is, what are the characteristics. Sir, அந்த ஃபேமிலிங்களா நம்பி கொடுக்கலாம் சார். This is what one or two words which will come from the community about that particular family. சார் அந்த ஃபேமிலிங்களா சார், ஜாலி ஃபேமிலி சார், எப்பவுமே அவங்க ஜாலியாக இருப்பாங்க, கூட்டு குடும்பமாக இருப்பாங்க, எது பண்ணாலும் ஒத்துமையாக பண்ணுவாங்க சார், அவங்ககிட்ட ஒரு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணீங்கன்னா ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவாங்க சார், தேர் வெரி ப்ராக்டிக்கல், டவுன் டு எர்த் சார், காசு அவ்வளோ இருந்தாலும் வெளியே அந்த பிஹேவியர் அவங்ககிட்ட தெரியாது சார். Again, this is what we talk in the positive. And again, we have families about which we hear the negative. சார் காசு வரைக்கும் நல்லா இருந்தாங்க சார், வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் ஆட ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. Again, like wasn't like that things once we go to the subtle things, that is what carries. It is since we are all mostly from the work situation, when we don't talk about the end result, but the way how we got the result.
Correct.
We carry the experience and the emotions in our mind, and not the exact thing. What we remember is only the experience, which is the emotions which we carry.
Correct.
சந்தோஷமா இருந்தா நல்லா இருந்தோம். So this emotion is very, very powerful. And Mr. Karupsamy had asked like the total new concept. Now, see, this group imago is a concept which I took it out from the topic of transaction analysis, which I've been a member of the transaction analysis circle in Coimbatore, and we meet on every Tuesdays in behind Charantas. From 91, I've been into TA, and I specialize in organization and coaching. So this group imago talks about what we carry in our mind, which we are not aware of. Some places we go and we feel comfortable. Some places we go, we don't feel, and we don't feel comfortable. சித்தப்பா வீட்டுக்கு போறியா? நான் வரேன்ப்பா. பெரியப்பா வீட்டுக்கு நான் வரல. ஏன்? சித்தப்பா வீடுனா சந்தோஷம், happiness, we are comfortable. That is what we carry in our head even today. பெரியப்பா வீடா போனா 1008 கேள்வி கேட்பாரு. என்ன படிச்ச? என்ன வேலைக்கு போனியா? அவர் போனா கேள்வியே கேட்கல, நான் வர மாட்டேன். நம்ம மைண்ட்ல வரது immediately that image which we carry about that family. That is what is this group imago. So this is very, very subtle. You know, off late னு சொல்லக்கூடாது. கொஞ்சம் வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னால என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க? பொண்ணு பார்க்க போறீங்களா? ஓகே, பொண்ணு மாப்பிள்ளை ஜாதகம் பொருந்திருச்சா? ஓகே, அப்ப அடுத்தது திருப்பி இன்னொரு பொருத்தம் பார்க்கணும். யாருக்குன்னு பார்த்தா பொண்ணுக்கும் மாமியாருக்கும் பொருத்தம் பார்க்கணும். So that the war doesn't escalate from that place also. So like these emotions are certain things which has been there, which we never speak out. It's high time we started realizing like what we carry within us is original, and that originality needs to come out.
That's correct.
Thanks, Vasant. Friends.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Vasant.
Really appreciate. Yeah.
Thanks, Vasant. Thanks, Sumi. Thanks, Venkatesh. Thanks, Kala Naresh. Thanks, Karpusamy. Thanks, Vasant again, Damodaranji, Sumati, and Dr. Sunita. It's wonderful. Please join by clicking on the link to our community. We'll keep you posted on our forthcoming programs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.